Good evening, good afternoon, Britannia, and hello to the rest of the world. Welcome to 2CTV with the latest updates from London, the capital of the United Kingdom. Once again, we've had another example of lawlessness in this capital city and in this country in general, across the whole Western world. Unity is going away, more crime and lack of respect for authorities and lack of respect for human life. Earlier today, near where I actually live, in London, unfortunately, a girl who was only 11, and a woman, 34, were targeted, stabbed, and they have now been treated. They are alive. And the police obviously got to the scene shortly after. They took their time, considering that it's literally the heart of London. They should have been much quicker, but that's a whole different question. Of course, they got the police officers patrolling the area generally, but it still took a few minutes to get there. We're going to give you all the information that we have so far, because these sort of attacks, these sort of random and also a trend of bad behavior continues across this city, and it's not really just about the youth gangs anymore. We've had, of course, that Yazidi guy who was, I think, from Afghanistan, who did the acid attack on a mother and a daughter. We've had a number of others over the last few months, but we do have a statement, of course, from the Westminster Police saying officers, this is obviously about a couple of hours ago, officers at scene of a stabbing in Leicester Square. A man has been arrested and is in custody. We don't believe there are any outstanding suspects. Two victims, 11-year-old girl, a 34-year-old woman, have been taken to the hospital, and we await an update on their conditions. We do have some update on that. But before we show you the suspect himself, because we do have a video that we're going to go through, it's important to give a massive shout out to the hero of the day. The hero of the day is this man. Abdullah, who I believe is 29 years old, works at the tea shop opposite the M&M's World. So literally by Leicester Square, next to the Lego store. And he is a security officer he works as in security for the shop, for the tea shop. And he immediately, without thinking, decided to jump out and stop the attack from getting worse. If it weren't for him, and then a couple of others also joined him, the attack could have completely continued and destroyed the lives of two people. He said, I heard a scream, and I just went outside and saw one guy had a knife. The moment I saw it, I just jumped on that guy and grabbed his hand and put him down on the floor and kicked the knife away from him. I had no time. I just didn't think, he says. To do this to a kid, it's horrible. Absolutely. Now, he's a good citizen. He's a good resident and citizen of this country. He did his job. The job of the police. We also have a video of the suspect. They have said that he is not of an English origin, and he's obviously light-skinned. But there are the first reports we got from few sources said most likely Eastern European origin, but not an English origin. But we don't know for sure the confirmation of what parts of Europe or anywhere else in the world this man is from. Let's go to the video.
That piece of shit just stabbed a little kid. Sorry, can you move back? Can you move back, please? Can you move back? Sir, when I say move back, please move back. It's not a spectator sport, all right? Yeah, people like him need to be put out there, mate.
Now, it could be from anywhere. I don't know, from Albania or Turkey. And those countries, of course, have different religions. And it could be Christian, it could be Islamic, it could be whatever it is. But we'll find out more information about the motive, I guess. Because if it was linked to some sort of connection, relationship, then that would be clear. If it were a random attack, as in the targets and the victims were picked randomly, the motive is completely different, of course. But we'll find out, hopefully. I don't know about these authorities these days. They don't really give you all the information anymore. London and ambulance service also said that we've sent resources to the scene, including an ambulance crew, an advanced paramedic and an incident response officer. We also dispatched the members of our tactical response unit. We treated a child and an adult at the scene and took them to a major trauma center. As far as we know so far, the child and the woman are still in the hospital nearby in the area. It could either be St. Thomas's or it could be Guy's Hospitals. Usually it's one of these two, or it might have taken to the Euston, the UCL hospital, the University College of London. They're the three options that you usually have for these sort of things. Now, there's so many issues with and the fact that, for example, Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, has been going around for the past few years, and he has in the past said, as mayor, he said that knife attacks and these sort of things, and also terrorist attacks, is just part of living in a big city. Get used to it. Sorry about that. That is the sad thing. The sad thing is that the mayor of London doesn't feel any urgency to fix these problems. Now, the mayor is not the only one responsible. There's central government, and you might say, well, it's a new party in power. But when we say central government, we simply mean all the mainstream parties who've been in the House of Commons for the past decade or so. That includes Labour, that includes the Tories. Now, the authorities themselves, the discipline has changed. The people in charge, priorities have changed. We got more police officers checking people's Facebook posts and their social media posts in general than being able to actually patrol the streets. Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, it's now been a few hours and he still hasn't released a statement on this issue. It's an attack at the heart of London, in central London. Nothing from the mayor so far. We'll wait to hear from the Prime Minister and others as well. But the mayor, that's one thing. The others responsible for this, it becomes overall society. The overall part of society, which again, because of lack of harmony and lack of unity over the last few decades, violence will go up, crime will go up. People don't know each other anymore. People don't know their neighbors anymore. We are bringing in people from different countries, different cultures who have no respect for the rule of law, authority. That has an impact on other people as well. Everything starts from the beginning. Early days education, early years education, school kids, bad parents, bad schools, bad other pupils from those mentalities, from parents who were bad. People grow up in those environments. There is no unity. Of course this was going to happen. Of course these sort of things will continue to happen. And the authorities and the establishment will use it to say, it's okay, give us more powers, we will be saving you from yourselves. And why did you not create a society, as we had in the past, that we could slightly have more peace and safety? The reason we had safety, and people had safety back in the day, decades ago, it wasn't necessarily because we had more police officers going around the streets. That's the one thing we have to do now anyway, short term, definitely. But because attitude and behavior and values were better back then. Humanity has gone through ups and downs and a basic evolution. The attitude of people in England in the 1940s and 1950s were definitely better than they were back in the 1600s. Violence went down, education went up, prosperity went up slowly, stability went up. Same applies to other countries. So you would think that 20th century goes up, 21st century comes, by default that mentality and that the values and safety and attitude will continue to go up, becoming more evolved and more civil. No. Because of the globalized world and complacency in society when it comes to the education system and everything else. Even if kids are born here, you go to school, there's no respect anymore for the flag, for the national anthem, for basic things. Some people think these things are trivial. These are important things. It gives you discipline in life, in your society, in your tribe, that you will be fighting alongside each other for your cause, for your country, for your family and your neighborhood. If that goes down, everything else will go down. We've normalized violence now by not taking it seriously. When Sadiq Khan says it's just get used to it, it's just part of living in a big city, that's the man in charge of the city, by the way. What did you expect? There are many people who don't value life, human life. And because of globalization and multiculturalism, a lot of them also invited other people who also don't value human life, and their mentality will affect other people as well. We already have enough problems, we are adding to it. Super chat from Keith Lawson. Thank you, Keith, for your support. Next one, I Love Jesus Christ says, it's a setup by the government to get the heat of Muslims. Don't put it past them. So we don't know the religion of this person. We do know that he's not of English heritage, and most likely Eastern European rather than Western European. And that also could include countries like Albania or Turkey, that could have Christians, atheists, and Islamic. So you could be white and Islamic as well, for the record. Phil says, Maya, can you or Stephen Barrett please explain the government's own definition of terrorism and why it's hardly used? Well, actually, it's a good question. Well, good point. I could get Stephen to come on the show to explain all that, as he's a barrister. Anthony says, praying for the UK. Thank you, Anthony, from Australia. Superstica from Just Jill. And Clay Wright also says, let's all be glad that he didn't write anything nasty on Facebook, though. Labour's London. Oh, yeah. Also considering we don't have enough prison spaces, up to a point where even those who have been arrested during the riots and protests are going to be released early. Are we going to find space for this man? Are we going to find some space? What's going to happen? Is he going to be released early? They told us those who are going to be released early from prisons because of the prison space issue capacity are going to be petty crimes and non-serious crimes. The list of people being released, they're all mental. They're all absolutely violent, insane villains. People linked to the grooming gangs, actual violent crime, Islamists. And these are not petty crimes. Nina says, who's the one who said he didn't feel safe? That's Sadiq Khan, isn't it? You're talking about Sadiq Khan. This is the same Sadiq Khan. On the one hand, he says, get used to it. It's just part of living in a big city. Next minute, he says, oh, I actually don't feel safe anymore in London because of the far right. Sadiq Khan, get used to it. It's part of living in a big city. Phil says, stormtroopers will be around tourist attraction. Well, at times, in normal days, you actually have parts of, not Leicester Square itself, but Covent Garden and other parts. I would feel safer walking around those areas than other parts of London, but mostly because they have their own security as well walking around. But why can't we bring back and strengthen stop and search? Stop and search. Keep doing it. Stop and search. It's not difficult. But according to the Labour politicians, it's controversial, considering that those who have been stopped over the last few years, depending on the area that they've been stopped and the police have discovered that they've been carrying knives, depending on the area, they had different skin tone. If you go, for example, 50 years ago, when you had the increased poverty and deprived areas in, for example, Glasgow, and you had gangs, if you did stop and search there, it will be a bunch of white Scottish kids, right? Now, if you go to, I don't know, East London or Southeast London like Lewisham, it will happen to be people with darker skin color. Even right now, over the last few years, we still get people getting stopped and they have knives who are white and black and purple and all the colors, right? But the Labour politicians are saying, no, it just seems a little bit mean to brown people. Really? considering the people who have actually been criminals and they've been stopped because of stop and search have been from all the skin colors. You don't really care that the rest of it is working. Mike says, having seen the video of the suspect who is obviously not from an Indian subcontinent, I wonder if it was a revenge attack, as we haven't been told what ethnicity of the victims. We don't know about we don't do revenge attacks like randomly by it's not a revenge attack. No, we don't know exactly what the in terms of the victims ethnicity wise, but obviously we know the attacker, as we already covered, is as they've said, he is not of an English heritage, and so we'll find out more information as in what part of, I don't know, Eastern Europe, or even at times there are certain people from Central America or South America. You never know, but they've said it's most likely obviously Eastern European countries. So we'll find out more information as we get that verified. Philip Smith, thank you so much for your support. And Simicata says that all those who want refugees here can pay for it via council tax. The rest of us can pay for the Winterfield's allowance, making opt-in or opt-out. It's not going to work, but the problem is the whole structure is so centralized. Some people had the same idea for the healthcare system, saying, well, why can't we just get the opt-out situation so that if you have money, you can opt out of paying taxes for NHS and you can just use private healthcare. The whole point of the NHS is the people who use it, the people who pay for it don't necessarily need it, which makes no sense, by the way. That's why the system is broken. So it's actually the rich that are funding the NHS. If the rich stop paying, if they all opt out, then the NHS will collapse. The people who keep attacking the rich, you're going to need them to pay for it. So, chat, thank you for your help and tireless work, Maya. Thank you so much, sir. And same lefties who say Americans shouldn't own guns. Knives don't kill people. People don't kill people. Mandy says, hi, afternoon. Do you know how Niak Gorbani is? He went to magistrate's court this morning. Yes, I believe so. Niak is obviously a friend of 2CTV, and he was the original counter-protester who started getting arrested on a weekly basis for holding a Hamas or terrorist signs. He went to the magistrate. I think he's won. I briefly saw something just before we came live. I will get more information about him, actually, and let you guys know. Because, of course, he's been clashing with the police left, right, and center. And Niak Gorbani is originally actually from Iran. He escaped the Islamic occupation of Iran. And but now obviously I think at this point he has been arrested more by the Metropolitan Police than by the morality police in Iran. Isn't that sad or weird? Ah, dear. Anyway, the good news is that the two victims are alive and safe, not life-threatening injuries, so that's good. And the idiot has been arrested. Happy birthday as well, Alex Day. But that's the good news. The bad news is that we still haven't heard from Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London. We'll find out. He's going to take his time. And of course, there's no urgency from the establishment to fix our problem, ladies and gentlemen. It's okay. We are here to continue to promote for sanity, safety, security, and freedom and unity. The best thing to do is to unite the kingdom. One of these. Get one of these. Can't see them. What am I doing? I can just literally put it on the screen. I keep doing this like an idiot. Unite the kingdom. Get your own merch in the description. You can get your t-shirts and hoodies and everything else, coffee mugs and whatever. Get it. You can find the link in the description. And this is the best way to keep yourself sane. Otherwise, you're going to lose your mind like Bamban. So that's the good news. The rest of it, of course, there's going to be a lot of other issues to discuss. We're going to take a break, actually about 5 p.m. UK time. In about 55 minutes, I am going to be on Dan Wootton's show on his channel. But after that, we're going to come and talk about illegal migration, because the whole border is falling apart once again, and this new Labour government are not doing anything about it, just like the previous government. And then we're going to discuss how the top of Downing Street and the Keir Starmer's Labour Socialist government is also falling apart. The honeymoon period didn't last that long. And of course, everything else is going on around us. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.